All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really radical idea, and it comes with a pretty personal question. Would you actually let your employer create a digital copy of you if it meant you'd never, ever burn out again?
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone can relate to this feeling, right? That deep sense of just emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that comes from long-term job stress. And, it feels so personal, doesn't it? Like it's just your problem, something you have to figure out how to manage on your own. But here's the thing, it's not just a personal feeling. See this number, 1,700 euros? That is what burnout actually costs a big company for every single employee every single year. All of a sudden, that really personal feeling, it becomes a huge and very, very measurable business problem. So let's just be crystal clear about this. We are not just talking about having a bad week at work here. Burnout is a defined, it's recognized, and as we just saw, it's an incredibly expensive problem for businesses absolutely everywhere. And look, this isn't just some kind of corporate buzzword. The World Health Organization itself officially calls burnout an occupational phenomenon. But here's the most important part of their definition, the real kicker, resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. You see how that shifts the focus? It stops being about an individual's failure and becomes a failure of the system. Okay, so if we know it's a problem and we know it's a systemic one, what are we actually doing about it? Well, as it turns out, the typical solutions we have right now, they're really falling short. And that's exactly why there's this growing need for something completely new. So the traditional solution has always been something like an employee assistance program, an EAP. And as you can see, these are totally reactive. You have to feel burnt out first, then you go and get help. It's kind of one size fits all with very little personalization. The new approach we're exploring today, which comes from a company called Mential, is the complete opposite. It's designed from the ground up to be predictive and continuous. And this is where it gets really interesting. A company called Mential is proposing something, well, pretty radical. They're asking, what if we could use technology not just to react to burnout, but to actually predict and prevent it from ever happening? And the solution they've come up with sounds like it's straight out of a science fiction movie. A workplace digital twin. So what on earth is a digital twin in this context? Okay, think of it like this. It's a real-time virtual model of your well-being while you're at work. The key here is that it's not a static profile, like a social media page. Nope, it's a living, breathing, evolving picture of your mental state, and it's all powered by data. So how does this thing actually work in practice? Well, it's a three-step process. First, the system gathers data. This comes from things like voluntary self-reports you fill out, and only with your full consent, of course, from sources like your smartwatch or fitness tracker. Second, it uses all that data to create your private, secure digital twin. And third, and this is the really crucial part, it runs simulations on that twin to predict when you might be at risk for things like burnout. This lets the system step in and offer help before you even realize you need it. Okay, so having a digital twin is one thing, but making it actually useful, well, that's where the AI comes into play. You can think of this as the magic that unlocks a level of truly personal care that honestly has just never been possible before. The ultimate goal here is to finally move away from that generic, one-size-fits-all wellness advice. So instead of getting a company-wide email blast about the importance of taking breaks, this system can provide exactly the right support to the right person at the exact moment they need it most. It's all about being proactive and hyper-personalized. So what does this hyper-personalized care actually look like on a day-to-day basis? Well, we're not talking about hour-long therapy sessions. We're talking about micro-interventions. So imagine this. Your phone buzzes 5 minutes before a huge, stressful presentation. But it's not an email, it's a prompt from the system for a 2-minute breathing exercise because it knows you could use some help focusing right now. That's the whole idea. Tiny, targeted, evidence-based nudges that actually fit into your real workday. All right, an innovative idea is one thing, but the big question is always, does it actually work? So let's get into the results from Mential's pilot programs, because honestly, the numbers here tell a really compelling story. The impact is pretty striking.
In their pilot programs, companies saw a 35% reduction in burnout symptoms among their employees. And get this, that was in just 3 months. A huge drop in a really short amount of time.
But it's not just about reducing the bad stuff. The data also showed a 15 to 20% improvement in employee concentration and productivity. And this was measured by actual cognitive tests. It just goes to show when people feel better, they really do work better.
And here's the crucial point for any business. All of this translates directly to the bottom line. Companies that had these programs in place saw a 12% drop in voluntary employee turnover. That means people were much less likely to quit, which saves companies an enormous amount of money in recruiting and training.
So, the big takeaway from all of this is that we're really on the verge of a major shift. For decades, workplace wellness has been reactive, right? We wait for a problem to pop up, and then we scramble to fix it. Technology like this could finally allow us to move into a completely new era, one that is continuous, data-driven, and truly, truly predictive.
And that leaves us with a really provocative question to think about. The potential benefits, they're crystal clear. Less burnout, higher productivity, and just better well-being overall. But it also raises some really important questions about data privacy and the very nature of our relationship with our employers. So, what do you think? Could a digital copy of you make your work life genuinely better? Or is it a step too far into a future that maybe we're not quite ready for?